recently, yeah. See, a lot of people don't know where I came from, and so I use terminology sometimes that people don't know what I'm talking about. And so I have to take time like this to kind of explain it so you just know where I come from. That's why I suggest books and things like that, and I give books to my staff to read, and because I want them to catch up. I want them to know where I come from. You know, why do I believe God the way I do? Because of who I sat under, because of what I've learned, because of what I've heard, because of what I've studied myself. So, okay, recently I made mention of what I and some other ministers call a Dirty Harry prayer. Dirty Harry prayer, right? Now, not sure where the name came from. I mean, I know the movies, I understand that. But I did hear Dr. Summerall mention it once. And it's funny because a Dirty Harry prayer is a biblical prayer, okay? Now, it's not the, you know, go ahead, punk, make my day. It's not that. That's not the prayer, okay? Now, I'm going to tell you where it's from real quick, okay? It's from Isaiah 54, verse 15 through 17, and it's also from Revelation chapter 6, verse 10, okay? Now, what that says is this. Behold, now remember, this is a prayer in a situation where something has been done and you're trying to get it made right, okay? Behold, they shall surely gather together, but not by me. That's God saying it. He said, in other words, people are going to come against you, but know that when they gather, it's not by me. I'm not behind it. He said, whosoever shall gather together against thee shall fall for thy sake. Behold, I've created the smith that blows the coals in the fire and that brings forth an instrument for his work, and I have created the waster to destroy. No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment thou shalt condemn. So every tongue that rises against you in judgment, you will condemn. Do you see that? That's the prayer. This is a Dirty Harry prayer. So when someone says, has formed a weapon and says things, especially that are lies and not true, then that needs to be made right. And you need to pray for your enemies, right? Now, understand, it says, thou shalt condemn. Now watch. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and their righteousness is of me, saith the Lord. So now notice, Revelation 6:10 says, and they cried with a loud voice, saying, how long, O Lord, holy and true, dost thou not judge and avenge our blood on them that dwell on the earth? So here you have two examples, right? One of them saying, every tongue that rises up against you, every weapon rises up against you, you will condemn. And what you condemn, God backs up because your righteousness is of him, he said. And it says that they shall fall for your sake. In other words, they'll be proven wrong, okay? And it says, now understand, this is the Dirty Harry prayer. This is when you start saying, God, you see, you know what's going on. Do something about it. Father, I take my hands off of them. So you put your hands on them. And you bring about your will, which is what? Repentance and restitution. Do you understand that? This is kingdom life. This is kingdom government. This is not the, God crushed them and burned them. Okay, let me tell you. See, you already believe this. You already know this. It's also called intercessory prayer. What do you pray for your children that are on the wrong path? Lord, bring them to their knees. Lord, bring them to repentance. Bring them back to you. Make them know. In other words, what are you saying? God, put pressure on them. That's a Dirty Harry prayer. Do you understand this? So that's all when I made mention. And matter of fact, when I made mention, I said, I haven't prayed a Dirty Harry prayer in a long time, but I still know how. Right? And it's amazing after that because we started out of nowhere. Now, I only said that to my staff. I didn't say it publicly. But my wife actually started getting a couple of emails in the last week talking about some people seeing some things, some visions, and having dreams about certain people, which I had been talking about at that point as far as what needed to be done. So we will see. But know this, God is not Listen, God is love. He's also just. Nobody gets away with anything. Do you understand that? There is sowing and reaping. And you will, what words you sow, you will reap from them. So, now, next, just so people know, 1 Timothy 1:20 says, Paul writing says, of whom is Hymenaeus and Alexander, whom I have delivered unto Satan, that they may learn not to blaspheme. That's not just the boy in 1 Corinthians. This is Alexander and Hymenaeus. So these are different people. Paul was pretty loose with the throwing people under the bus. He turned a lot of people over to Satan. Why? So they learn not to blaspheme, or so that they learn not to sin, so they could be saved in the end. And then, of course, 2 Timothy 4:14 says, Alexander the coppersmith did me much evil. And notice what Paul said. The Lord reward him according to his works. Notice Paul didn't say, but that's okay. He didn't say that. See, there is justice. But it's not justice done the human way. There's God's justice. And until you take your hands off a situation, God can't put his hands on. That's why you pray for them. God, you know. Lord, I bless them. I forgive. Therefore, I will not bring it up again. That's what forgiveness means. Once you forgive, you don't bring it up again. And then, now God, now you deal with it. And you go on and live your life, right? That takes you off, and it's not wearing on you. Now, yeah, I think that's it. Is that it? Yeah. Okay. Yep, we're going to stop right there.